Hello, welcome to Mad Goes Racing, and look at the latest update for Automobilist 2. This is now version 1.3.8.1. There's a couple of loads of change logs going from 1.3.71 to 1.3.8.0, and we will start reading there. And content: added Argentinian Track Pack, which is Buenos Aires, Cordoba, and the Termas de Rio Hondo. At least that's what it says here. It's actually the Termas Rio de Hondo, I think it is. So, a bit of a typo, whatever. I'm not going to complain. I don't speak Portuguese. I barely speak bloody English, obviously. Right, general. Fixed pit limiter state not resetting on return to garage. Fixed Phantom 6th controller profile being available on the first load of a brand new profile. Extended FFB fade in after pause. Revised various terrain and material properties, fixing a long-standing issue with slippery astroturf and minor inconsistencies with various curb and concrete types. UI and HUD MPRS message position is now adjustable in HUD editor. What's the MPRS? I'll come back to that. Physics. Fully revised physics for Group A BMW M1 Pro Car Sprint Race Formula Retro Gen 3. Metal Moro MRX all models. Rocco 001 MCR Sports 2000. Opala 1986. Omega 1999. Cobra Classic B and FL. Mini JCW UK, Caterham Academy, Formula 3, Formula Trainer, both models, Formula V, setup, reset recommended. Minor tyre tread adjustments to Porsche Cup, Formula Classic, all, Formula USA, all, GT1, GTE, GT3, GT4, GT5, P1, Cadillac DPI, Stock Car 2019, Stock Car 2020 to 2022, Super V8, BMW Pro Car M1, Group A, Group C cars. Revised tread stroke carcass heat conductivity and ideal temperature ranges. Revised clutch LSD model for Porsche Cup, GT Classic, Group A, M1 Pro Car. Formula Retro Gen 3 and Sprint Race. Formula 3s and Formula Reset, and updated their respective default differential setup. Setup reset recommended. Improved ABS logic for all cars that feature the device. I don't actually remember driving anything with ABS lately, but updated pit limiter logic to help prevent overshoot when leaving the garage. General FFB added a low pass filter to be used in FFB scripts. That's a Butterworth second order. FFB max force adjustments for Formula V10 Gen 2, Porsche Cup Group A, Pro Car, Sprint Race, Omega Stock, Opala 1986, BMW M4 GT4, Genetta G55, Genetta G40, Gol, Passat, F903, F309, Sigma P1, Metal Moro MRX, Rocco Corvette C8R, Formula V, Caterham's Formula Trainer, Formula Ultimate Gen 2, Formula USA, all models, Porsche 962C and the Mini JCW. Porsche Cup, both models, minor adjustments to cog height and weight distribution, adjusted front splitter and a rear wing to move overall centre of pressure forward, and other minor aero adjustments. Slightly softened default front roll bar, slightly increased brake torque. Stock Car 2020-2022, both models, adjusted tyre dimensions to 305/660 as per Real Pirelli Cinturato model introduced during 2020 season. Super V8, minor adjustments to front and rear track width for improved stability, slightly adjusted FFB parameters, reduced default steering lock. Metal Moro AJR, adjusted diffuser centre of pressure slightly forward. Group C, minor adjustments to diffuser centre of pressure and front splitter height sensitivity to both cars. Formula USA all gens, minor adjustment to front wing height sensitivity and venturi centre of pressure. Formula Classic all gens, minor adjustment to front wing height sensitivity. Formula V10 Gen 1, minor diffuser and front wing adjustments. Formula V10 Gen 2, minor adjustment to diffuser centre of pressure. Minor FFB adjustment reduces grainy high frequency noise. Formula Retro Gen 3 adjusted diffuser centre of pressure, decreased heating and increased cooling, slightly slower oil to water heat exchange for Formula Retro G3TE. Formula Ultimate both gens, minor rear wing lift drag efficiency adjustment, increased brake disc thickness and reduced wear rate. Formula Ultimate Gen 2, adjusted FFB max force, moved under tray centre of pressure slightly rearwards. Corvette C3R, adjusted engine torque curve, revised and added thermostatic engine cooling to Lotus 23 and Mini 65. Formula Retro Gen 1, fixed tyre linking to incorrect carcass model. Caterham, minor adjustments to body aero, more drag, less propensity to lift, reduced brake heating rate for all models, increased brake duct cooling for the 620R. BMW M4, minor aero and engine adjustments for performance balancing, more to come. FFB max force adjustment, adjusted brake torque, minor rear roll bar rate adjustment, reduced default steering lock. Porsche 911 GT1, revised turbo model. Ginetta G55, both models slightly decreased rear wing efficiency. AI, fixed AI not repairing damage or changing tyres when refueling during qualifying and practice sessions. Fixed AI programmed mistakes that weren't triggered when they should be in some cases and vice versa. Fixed some cases where AI would incorrectly estimate starting fuel and or required fuel to add to pit stop. Added shared engine lifetime simulation for player and AI vehicles. AI performance calibration passed, all classes were revised. Physics revised AI personality parameters, adding more distinct characteristics for series with custom AI drivers. Adjusted AI overtaking parameters for all cars, less hesitation to overtake, less prone to aggressive twitchers. AI cars now start with 25% of fuel tank in practice sessions, like the default player setup, rather than qualifying loads as before. Further calibration. I'll get me brain in gear and my mouth to work. Further calibration to AI wet performance when on slicks. Added custom AI driver names to Formula Vintage both gens, Formula Retro all gens, Formula Classic all gens, M1 Pro Car, Group C, Group A, GT1, GTE, P1, P2, P3, P4 and DPI classes. Adjusted AI performance for Bathurst, Brands Hatch, Hockenheim, Laguna Seca, Monza, Montreal, Adelaide, both versions, Kansai, all layouts, Northcliffe, both layouts, Silverstone 1991, Silverstone 2001, Spa, both versions, audio. Adjusted onboard sounds to not overload output compressor, potentially leading to minor distortion. Revised wall reflections, DSP and improved low pass filter. Fixed inaccuracy with audio, wall reflections, distance calculation. Now reflections are audible, whip most notable on surround sound systems. Increased high pass cutoff frequency on audio reflections. Vehicles: BMW E30 Group A, Mercedes 190E Evo 2. Added dangling parts, adjusted collision and damage models. McLaren F1 GTR, added damage dangling parts, fixed the wiper sound trigger, revised collisions, adjusted light glow textures. Opala all models, added broken light textures, adjusted light materials. Uno both models, added broken light textures, adjusted light materials. Sprint Race, added damage models. Stock car 2020-2022, fixed damage on some parts and lods. Cadillac DPI, added 5 new liveries. Formula Classic Gen 1, Gen 2, revised all liveries. Mercedes E190, fixed windscreen dirt build-up rate. Build 2043, that was a slight update between the release candidate and the final release. So it didn't change number, so it was still 1380. Tyre tread adjustments for GT1, hard compound, Porsche Cup, Omega 99, Opala 86, Formula E, Vintage TCs, Formula Vintages, Formula Trainers, F3, FV12, FUSA, Copa Track Street cars, Omega stock car, minor corrections to inertia and front splitter, Formula Trainer, minor cog height adjustment, Formula V, minor body aero adjustment, GT1 disabled tyre warmers as per real regulations of the era, fixed error with Caterham Supersport physics being shared with a Superlight in previous build, adjusted AI performance using road tyres on wet, further art developments to Cordoba and Termas de Rio Hondo. Does say actually Hondo that time. And version 1.3.8.1 change logo, I'll get my teeth in. Content, added Cordoba number 2 and 4 layouts, given a total of 3. General, adjusted AI suspension rate multipliers, also used in multiplier code to minimise vibrations from opponents in multiplayer. Physics, minor tyre tread adjustments for Group A, M1 Pro Car and F3, Formula V adjusted FFB. AI, added check for AI to add extra fuel over the default level if default isn't enough for their running practice sessions. Added custom AI drivers for GT3 series, Nürburgring, adjusted AI grip for Nordscliff and 24-hour layouts. Tracks, Cordoba adjusted pit building, race control materials and textures, added houses at Villa Park Santa Ana, added Miriam Stepford Monument, added power lines and light poles, radio masts, water tower, added road noise, added marbles, added pit and brake marker cones, Termas de Rio Hondo art pass and added seasonal foliage, relaxed track limit slightly at turn 10 apex. Just thinking where turn 10 is, that might be the one that's really difficult to spot. We'll find out in a minute. Vehicles, Formula Classic Gen 3 revised liveries and a Mini JCW UK revised liveries. There is a new dev update for June. I think it was the June update. It goes through all the things they've done recently, what they're planning, what they have done and what they are still hoping to get done. Now, I'm not going to go through every version of all of the circuits because I've got a race this evening that will take all bloody day otherwise. What am I going to do? Formula V? Yeah, Formula V. I think we'll start without the fin and then we'll go to doing alphabetical order, as that's quite useful. Remember what the first one was. Buenos Aires. Now we've got circuit 6, circuit 7, circuit 8, 9, 12 and 15. Now the original circuit was built in 1952. Basically the president of Argentina went, we're going to build a circuit, so it got built very quickly. It's more or less in the city. It's on a piece of, I think it was marshland or something. And they built the circuit and basically the cities continue to grow around it by the looks of it. The original circuit was as per circuit 6, with the difference being that where it says S3, that went out a lot further to a hairpin, much further out. So you had a much longer run from S2 along that straight, and then a hairpin that came back, and you'd probably go through the corner where it says S3 quite a bit quicker. I think all the internal bits are the same. The thing that's now the other side of that hairpin where it says S3 is actually a kart circuit, so they've built the kart circuit over where it used to have part of that. The extension to go up to this long bit around the top here that always reminds me a lot of Mallory Park, that sort of section, because Mallory Park is sort of like an oval, but it's an uneven oval, and this looks like you could do the same thing if they put a loop at the bottom between like S1 and S2 there. You could have another loop and have an oval there. Suppose they never did, but whatever. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of Mallory Park, but this bigger. Mallory Park across the sort of the width of the long bend at the end is about 300 metres. This is about 500 metres. So it's a very, very long bend. It's also not a constant radius, so it's sort of like quite quick, and then it tightens up a little bit just as you're trying to exit, so it can be a little bit tricky. But we're going to start with this. I'm just trying to remember, did I say? Yeah, it was 68, something like that, when I added that extra bit. So it's going to be a sort of 60s job for the cars that suit it. Like I said, we're going to go with the tightest, twistiest circuit, and I'll try not to get lost, and the Formula V. Don't forget the default dates will be like January, February, March type time, because it's in the southern hemisphere. So of course, being in practice, we probably won't see a lot of crowd. I'm just trying to remember if we've got any crowd at all around here. I don't think they have. Right, no mucking about, we're just going to go straight out and do it not too quick. Yeah, there's absolutely nobody in the stands in a practice session. I don't know whether they're planning to put a few people in there or not. Right, this is quite a tight initial first turn that then opens out a bit. This circuit, or this selection of circuits from Buenos Aires and the Cordoba, was it Cordoba? Yeah, Cordoba. We're in AMS1, so if you played them there, they should look fairly similar. Why does this feel a bit stuttery? Again, fairly tight corner. It's all a bit tight on the infield here. The sort of infield sections are a lot of sort of turning in on themselves type corners. This is a sort of a bit of a tricky one as you turn in and you think, I'm all safe, I'm all safe, I'm all safe. I think it's quite easy to cut that, but then you'll find yourself drifting out over here somewhere, and you could get a cut track over there, so watch out for that. Again, another sort of hairpin. It's not overly tight, this one, so it's not too bad. And then there's a bit of a run out of here to go down to what's the fastest corner on the course, maybe. This is the one that I'm still going, where do I turn in? Quite difficult to spot where to turn in, and then you sort of come round here. Then it seems to suddenly tighten up just about there somewhere, so you're going to have to work your lines out for that one. Then again, another hairpin. And the Formula V is quite nice and drifty, but not in a bad way. And it's sort of cut that, and then you're sort of over this little rise and into it's 90 degree, and then a more than 90 degree. Then to what is probably the biggest pain in the arse corner on the course, because as you approach it, you're going, where's the corner? Where's the corner? Is that the corner? Is that it? Then you're going, oh no, and then it's like, oh hang on, it's run out of, oh there's the corner, just there, and it's over this little rise, and it's very, very difficult to spot. So probably should have changed down a gear there. Now it's off into the final hairpin, which you can probably brake reasonably late for. It's slightly uphill coming out here, but not massively. It doesn't seem to drop away too badly. You'll probably have trouble getting the power down, and something with skinny tyres. Must remember it's only a 4-speed box, and I must remember we've got to slow down up here somewhere, so about there should do. Oh, that might have been too much. No, I think we're alright. There was an apex back there somewhere. I missed it by about 3 miles. Again, over here is a bit of a brow, so it's quite difficult to spot until you're there or thereabouts. The Formula V does feel like it's sort of behaving itself quite nicely. Like I said, it's quite easy to drift out of here and whoa, a bit too much. Probably should have done a few practice laps before I jumped in it, so I got an idea of what it was going to do. It does rotate really nicely on the throttle. And then the corner where I'm going, where do I turn in? Somewhere here, somewhere out, oh, back there all day. Try and clip that just, and then work out where I brake. Try and actually hit an apex. Quite easy to drift out wide there and struggle to get the power down, even in something that's not exactly grunty as this, and into this interesting little section. Then we'll play spot the corner down here somewhere. I don't know if you can sort of, I don't think even the 50 marker really helps a lot. It's you can see the start of the curving on your left, and then it's like, well, where the is the corner? And it's there somewhere. So as you can see, it's quite a tight little circuit, so it's probably going to suit slower cars more. I was just thinking, sort of like the GT3 car is going to be a right pain in the arse around here. I mean, you certainly don't want to be doing too much in a Formula car around here, I would have thought. So, no idea if that's a slow-ish or a what lap. Yeah, it's probably not a million miles out of something half decent, but yeah, it's nicely modelled. Like I said, I probably should have done it with a race weekend with no nothing but me here to see whether or not they're putting any spectators in there. Got plenty of stands, but no spectators. So, right, if we go and out here, we will come back in and we will have a look at the big original, the big, not the original circuit, the big boomy sort of Formula 1-esque suitable circuit, which is 12 without any of the bit down the bottom here. It's going to make life interesting. That'll be a really interesting combination, really high speed, big fast booming corners, and this little tricky, nasty, horrible bit down the end there. Not like I've got anything against nasty, tricky, horrible little tight bits or anything, but Formula Vintage Gen 1, yeah, what the hell. I go for the Namira. I'm assuming that's meant to be a sort of take off of the 1966, was it 66? The Grand Prix film. Well, they had the James Garner driving for the Namira team that was actually Honda. Now, this should be interesting. Is my wheel actually let's try getting the right amount of rotation on your wheel, that'll help. Again, you're going to presumably see some people in there. Now, the first couple of corners here are big and quick. Have to be a bit careful. There's the stripy line there. That is the track limit, and you want to. I think this is actually slightly tighter than the first part, so it sort of encourages her in, and you'll find yourself overshooting it. Another big long straight, well, not that long, and then where to brake, who knows? We'll try it on the oh, too much. That was dumb. Yes, that wasn't quite right, but yeah. Again, everything looks nice textures, nicely modelled, all the wires and everything. Like I said, when we're looking at the track map, it tightens a bit coming out of there, so. And this is the main straight where, I don't know how fast you get going in one of these. quite bloody quick, I suspect. Haven't fucked up once already, we'll try and get around the actual corner. This is that same corner we were looking at before, only this time, instead of going that way, we're going to carry on straight. And brake, around about there maybe. Oh, a bit of understeer. I don't think this has had revised tyres yet, has it? Because they were doing all the radial stuff first, and these shouldn't be radial, these will be cross-ply or bias belted. Ooh, on the grass, off the grass. Let's see if we can work it where to turn in this time. Now you probably want to go tight and then out and then wait. There's a cone over there that's on the apex, but you have to be a bit careful about going wide on the exit. Something with a bit of aero would have no problem getting around here, but I think these are set up a little bit understeer at the moment, so what we're going to hit 185, 100. Like I said, this is going to suit sort of faster vehicles, but not with potentially a lot of downforce, because otherwise it'd just be tediously boring. Because I think it's the lack of downforce in these that makes them fun to drive on these older circuits, where it's all about trying to get as much straight line of speed as possible out of them, because that's what they were designed for. Hence the little cigar shapes. Should we try and do one more lap? Actually avoided the grass. Trying to spot a turning point is quite a pain. We'll sort of accelerate through the middle and then back off a bit as we come to the exit and see if that helps. Even when you think you're there or thereabouts, it still drifts out on the exit, so what we're going to hit? We're going to hit 190. Yeah. Somebody braver than me with better brakes might have made 190, but that was close. Is that valid? Apparently it is. Bit of understeer. I'll say a bit, like about 3 tons of it. And there you have a lap of, it should be a really, really good circuit for slipstreamer on, that's for sure. Very much a case of bravery required, I think, for that. So, yeah, quite an enjoyable circuit. It's certainly the difference between like the tight little infield section on the shorter one, the first one we looked at, and that is just night and day. So, yeah, that should prove interesting. Let's press the right button. Now, Cordoba. They've added, like I said, they've added 2 more layouts. The initial layout they had was just the outside section, effectively. Let's find Cordoba. Cordoba, not to be confused with the Cordoba that's in Spain. Yeah, this is what they had initially, which is the TC layout, and that's basically the sort of like outer part. Now they've added the number 4 and number 2 circuits, number 2 being the short one. I think what we'll do is we'll sort of take the middle ground and go with this one. And what am I going to drive around there? Kyrm Academy. Yeah, Kyrm Academy. Should prove interesting. So this is a nice combination of like nice straights and some tricky infield sections. Yeah, there's a couple of interesting parts, although they might have added some additional help, shall we say, for various places, because when I drove it the other week, there were certain parts of the circuit where you go, where the hell am I? Where do I brake? Oh, back there somewhere. So it's like, all nicely modelled, quite open garages, open plan, no walls, why not? Just trying to think this, I sort of come out of here and I'm going, that sort of tree line, I'm thinking, that reminds me a bit, there's a section in Argentina, is it in Argentina? That's in Call of the Wild, the Hunter, where you can go and kill things in Argentina and the surrounding area. And it looks like that. It's all sort of quite flat, quite open. A few sparse trees and then a bit of forestry. But that's not why we're here. We're here to look at a circuit. Now, it's quite confusing because it looks like there's a continuous line coming out of the pits. That's not the pit line, it's just a line around the middle of the circuit. Don't know why. That first corner, quite quick, and oh, it's quite easy to go, where the hell's the circuit going? It doesn't go that way, it goes that way. So, I would bloody do it. As you come sort of out of that fast corner, it's like trying to work out where to brake. I think I spotted 2 cones, but there's some lines on the ground, sort of like a 100 and a 200 metre line, but I think I just spotted some cones beside there whilst I was rabbiting. There's a couple of cones here as well, so it's like 200 metre mark, and then you notice the lines across the road as well, maybe. This is going to be tight. Like I said, this wasn't available the other day when I had to go around. I just drove around the infield, sort of following the grey bit of tarmac. So don't be surprised if I keep looking up there at the track map. That's more or less that's a turning point, that's not a distance marker. Oh god. It is very, very tight and tricky up the infield here. But this we just dropped off a cliff. This car feels really nice. It says in a surprised sounding voice, which is probably a bit dumb. It feels really nice. Up the start finish straight, probably 3rd gear, probably, maybe, I don't know. Wait for it on the exit. Bit of camber there to help you, assist. Like I said, the white line down the middle of the road. I don't know why, but it has. I thought I spotted a cone here somewhere. Did I spot a cone? Yeah, that's probably a bit late to turn in by that one. Oh, I don't know, it's not a million miles out. You can hold it, drift out, and then look for 2. Then 1, and again, like I said, there's sort of lines in the road, but they've added those cones and they weren't there the other day, and it was like, where the fuck am I? The section's really nice, it's nice. Open fast-ish, probably a bit too fast. No, that wasn't too bad. And then you come at this sort of infield section, it's like, oh my god. So it's going to be a bit, oh dear. Where was I going? Sorry, I keep looking up there because I got no clue where I'm going. Oh yeah, this was... Oh, probably shouldn't have gone down a second, but... There's a bit of... little bit of... up and down. It's making it a little bit difficult to spot where you are. But... quite a fun little thing in something as slow as this, but... Again, I don't think you'd have a huge amount of fun in anything too quick through that descent. A bit too tight. But yeah, works really nicely in this. I think you've got the sort of tight twisty bit in the middle, and then nice run down a couple of reasonable length straights that you could probably do a bit of slipstreaming up. So yeah, that's quite fun. Nicely modelled, nice trees. All the textures are there. I don't know why we're bouncing up and down quite the way we are, but whatever. Strange. Yeah, another, whoops, wrong button. Another nice circuit. It's with options. Like I said, the original release candidate, and just before it was only the outer circuit, the TC circuit, and that was a blast. It really is. Just trying to remember what I think I drove it in the M1 Pro car, and that was a real blast in that. I think everything's a blast in the M1 Pro car, but then I might be slightly biased. What am I going to go for? What circuit was I going to go to? Oh yeah, the Termas de Rio Hondo. Now the Termas de Rio Hondo is actually used for the Motorcycle Grand Prix. I think it's the newer circuit. I don't know when the Cordoba was built. I must have another look, see if I can find some info, but this is reasonably recent if I remember rightly. But as you can see, it's got some quite interesting looking corners with curved braking zones, and some quite interesting, like, tight corner sort of to the right of S3. Very tight corner with a very interesting exit out of it that's going to be quite difficult to get the power down. Same sort of coming out of the sort of right hander onto the straight. It's like the straight's very big, very wide, but I'm just trying to remember what car did I think I would try this in. Oh yeah, the F3. I'll do. Give that. That's a sort of nice compromise between power and downforce. So we'll see how this goes around here. Because the F3 is meant to have had some changes made to it as well. So, and it's on radial slicks. So that should be. And I haven't pressed the fucking start button. Muppet. But yes, this is a very interesting technical circuit. I've done a few laps around it in the MotoGP race game, and God, I always struggle with it, getting the braking right into various corners. So I have tried it, but not in the F3 car. So yeah, let's try it without the H pattern. Big old garage buildings. Yeah, all nicely modelled again, nice texturing. Loads of stands and these sort of interesting tent-like covers on them. Into the hairpin. Now there is actually a piece of track goes off over there somewhere, and there's effectively two layouts. Well, we haven't got the second layout that joins up on the sort of main straight, but we go around this bit. Again, quite flat, but there are a few little rises that just make life interesting here and there. So there's a lot of plains in Argentina, although don't quote me on that because I've never been there, I wouldn't know, but I believe there's a lot of sort of very large expanses of flat land in Argentina. right onto the back straight through this big long sweeping bend onto this massively wide straight. No problem finding room down there, and then pick your braking point into a hairpin. And a hairpin through a corner is probably quite difficult. If you've got something with lots of power and no downforce, then into this tight little corner. It's quite tight on the entry, and then it sort of opens up a lot. So again, it's one of these quite easy to get the back end going, and then into probably the most annoying corner a lot, because you come up to it and you can't see the exit. So you come in, you go over here somewhere and go, oh shit, there's this the other side of it. But I think they've changed the off track on that. It was like basically any time you touched it, you were off track. And through yet another difficult acceleration zone through a constant corner. So again, if you've got anything with lots of power, you're going to be in trouble. That's the pit entry on your right, and then into this final hairpin where you don't want your Ducati teammate up your inside. And anybody who didn't see the Grand Prix a couple of years ago will go, what the fuck's he on about? Basically the two works Ducatis took each other out. Let's see if we can do a reasonably fast lap. Where we're going to brake around about the 50 mark, which seems like a hell of a lot more than 50 metres away, but there you go. Again, really nicely modelled. Again, car feels quite nice. That's where the cut comes through from the first corner. Huge long straight with loads of it. And how late do we brake? I really don't know. About there, but probably without all the squealing and screaming would have been nice. There it is, which like I said, I should think in something with no downforce and lots of power is going to be an absolute bastard to get off. The bike spin up a lot out of there through this corner, which you can probably take faster than you think you can, even though it's very tight, because it opens out so much on the exit and through here. And again, oh shit, I might have screwed that. Yep. Might have to try another lap. Yeah, again, that, if you've got something that's very pushy on the front, it's going to screw you. If you can brake into this corner quite nicely, that would help. That's not too bad. Could have been worse. I'm not sure there's really a sausage on that curb, because I'm sure the bikes just go across it, but it might be yet another one of these ones where they put it in and can take it out for different series. Tyres are really nice and progressive now. Probably haven't said that would do something steering in a minute, but whatever. Again, brake late but not too late. Like I said, might do something stupid, or might get away with it. Let's see if we can get these next couple of corners right. And loads of stands about, well, shit, oh, shit. Shouldn't have looked left. By the way, this, what looks like a footpath around the outside, is actually the MotoGP long lap penalty loop. So, if you ever see it on a bike, why they're going around there, it's because they've been a naughty boy or girl. Probably just invalidating my lap anyway, so. Yes, it doesn't help if you try to look at the scenery whilst driving. Don't do that. But yeah, all very nice. nicely modelled. It's got a more realistic look than the one in the MotoGP bike game, I have to say. Which for some reason looks a bit like it's made out of plastic. But yeah, 3 nice additions to the game, and the changes in the tyres and some of the other physics changes are definitely making a difference to the drivability of the cars and the ability to not overheat the tyres. It'll be nice when they're finished doing all of the let's try putting it in neutral so it doesn't run away by itself. It'll be nice when they're finished doing all the tyres for all the cars. I don't think they've yet done the Formula Vintage, so me driving one of those earlier was possibly a bit silly, but there you go. Me driving one of them is always silly, actually. But all in, nice selection of new circuits. Would be nice if they had both layouts for this, so you could do the straight down the straight job off the first corner. But whether or not they do at some point in the future, I don't know. Presumably they have to pay extra for the extra layouts. Cordoba, really nice layout for quicker cars around the outside, and the shorts to the short circuits I think will really suit, like the short twisty stuff on the Buenos Aires will really suit the slower cars quite nicely, so like your Formula V, Formula Trainer, the slower Caterhams, and probably the sort of various touring cars, the like Unos and things like that should work really well around here. And the sort of big booming circuits will work well on the older low downforce cars. I think anything with too high downforce might be alright around the sort of outside of Cordoba, maybe. But any time you get really tricky Mickey Mouse stuff, the sort of modern stuff never seems to work very well. GT4 maybe would work quite well around a lot of them. GT5 definitely. GT3, a bit of a toss up. Again, you want something that's got enough corners to make it worthwhile, but they don't want to be all slow Mickey Mouse stuff. It's annoying, shall we say. But right, that's the 1.3.8.1 update. Like I said, there is a dev blog for June, even though it's July. And like I said, it's worth a read. There's a lot of it. I haven't actually finished reading it yet, but they talk about what they've been doing, including all the tyre changes and everything. So have a read. I'll put a link down below, and that's it for me for now. I will return to the garage so the car shuts up, so I won't have to sort of do some audio ducking at the end of the video. But from me for now, enjoy your racing, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Where's my button?